Hello and welcome back to Solid. My name is Jake. Thank you guys very much for joining me today on June 5th, Thursday. It is week 4 of the week. We are 3 days out from the XFL Championship game between Battlehawks and the Defenders. Not gonna lie, I was pretty proud of myself that I counted to 3 that well. If you watched yesterday, not great. Not a great showing from your boy, counting on his fingers, and it took him 5 seconds. But we're here. We're doing this damn thing. We're doing a bird's eye preview for this game. Kind of an extension of what yesterday's show was. Well, yesterday I did a recap of the week 3 game with the Battlehawks and the Defenders when everything went to shit. Not real quick, but when it went to shit, everything really went to shit shittily. And the Battlehawks pretty much just got their dicks ripped off in the last third of the game. Not good. In that game, I think it's very easy to say, and this is how it just normally is in football games, Battlehawks had 4 turnovers, and they only got 2 turnovers. You lose a turnover battle that bad, you're going to lose the game. So that's kind of the spot where they got to get better. But there are a handful of things that they can do in order to make life easier for themselves. I have 2 things on offense, I have 2 things on defense, and then one thing that is kind of not really having to do with either of those. Starting with the offense, my key to victory, is that the way to say this? Yeah, you know what? Let's get real cliche. Typically, I try to go away from the cliche things because they're everybody uses them and they're unoriginal. So let's think of something different besides key to victory. This is how you win. What about a Battlehawk? A Battlehawk pun, because I do the caw, I do the I do the recap, I do the bird's eye preview. It's just Battlehawks. What about war strategy? That ain't terrible. It's kind of hokey. But for right now, we'll call it. Let's be lame. Let's be lame pieces of shit and call it a war strategy. It's Battlehawks military type thing, war strategy. This is the best we're gonna do for now with this. But the first one, okay, on offense, get started quick. And this is all kind of lumping together, in that this needs to be a team win. Like, I don't think necessarily that the Battlehawks are going to be able to win this game unless everybody everywhere is kind of on the same page, and getting started quick is going to help that, and that you get the points on the board that makes the defenders throw the ball more early and often, keep the crowd in the entire thing. It's just gonna work. It's just gonna work better like that. Now, the Battlehawks don't score in the first quarter, and they don't score on their first drive, and that's bad. So far this season, the Battlehawks have only scored 13 points on their first drives. That was a field goal against Michigan in week 3, a field goal against San Antonio in week 9, and then a touchdown. Their first and only first drive touchdown of the entire season happened in that week 10 game that didn't matter at all. But in the first quarter, it's been 6, 9, 12, 15, 25, 31, 31 plus 3 is 34, 41 points in the first quarter. And it's the only time they've scored double digits in the first quarter was in week 7, where they scored 10 points. So, it's not exactly their strong suit, but when they do, I mean, to be fair, they've only lost 2 games, but the only time that they've lost a game where they scored this doesn't make sense. I was going to say the only time that they've lost a game when they scored in the first quarter was in week 4, but that was the game with the Manny Wilkins going down and all that shit. So that stat doesn't really hold any water or anything like that. But my point is that you want to make sure that you keep the crowd in this game. Now, there's an idea that the defenders have beat the Battlehawks at home, the only team to do it, aside from San Antonio last year in the playoffs. So if there is a team that's kind of immune to the Battlehawks' home field advantage, there's an argument that it is the defenders. Now, I don't necessarily believe that's the case because when they won this year, it was a shit show. Again, 4 turnovers. I hardly believe that has anything to do with their offense being able to deal with the crowd noise. As a matter of fact, and I'll just bring this up now, Jordan Ta'amu's worst game this season was against the Battlehawks in that Week 3 game. That he had his tied for his lowest completion percentage. He had his middle of the road yardage wise, his third lowest yards per attempt, and then he also threw 2 interceptions. And he only did have one big time throw, which is what PFF counts as a pass with excellent ball location and timing, generally thrown further down the field and or to a tighter window. Whatever the fuck that means, but he had the lowest percentage of those this entire game. He threw the most tight window throws. You throw tight window balls, there's a better chance of them getting picked off, a la 2 interceptions. That team had their 3rd highest drop rate. That's what I'm saying, is that I think, they did win in that game, but I believe that them being able to deal with the crowd noise wasn't an indictment of them being able to beat the crowd noise. So you want to make sure that you keep the crowd in this entire game. What I want is I don't want. The general idea is that you want to receive the ball in the second half. That way you have the opportunity to have back-to-back scoring drives. You end the first half with a score, and then you get the ball back in the second half. I don't want that, actually, this game. I want to make sure you're keeping the crowd in it. If the Battlehawks get the option to, I want them to receive first. I can't remember exactly how the UFL does that with allowing, like, it's not a coin flip. I don't remember how they do it. I'm sure somebody will remind me, and I appreciate it when everybody does remind me things because I'm, again, dumb. I want the Battlehawks to receive the ball first. I want them to go down and score, which I understand is not a thing that they do, but I want that opportunity. I want that opportunity, and then you get the crowd going, and then you can get a stop on defense, which is what they're good at doing in the first quarter and in first drive specifically, and against this team specifically. Number 1, get started quick. Number 2 is I need them to, and this is the second thing on offense. I need them to not panic. I really, because that is clearly what happened in that game. It wasn't just Manny Wilkins who panicked, which he did when he threw all these bad interceptions, making bad reads, leaving pockets that were clean. It was Phil McGeegan with play calling. It was cowardly field goals. It was that kind of stuff. It was getting away from the run game, and that was the biggest culprit in this entire game. That is another reason that I believe the Battlehawks lost that game. They only had 45 rushing yards in that entire game, and 39 of them came off of Manny Wilkins, and 27 of those came off of one single Manny Wilkins run. So over half of those rushing yards came from one play. Jacob Sailors in that game had 7 carries for 1 single yard total. He netted 1 yard. That's unacceptable when you have this guy. I'm looking at his numbers right now. His 7 carries, he had 6 carries in week 9 in a meaningless game when I think he got like his dick hit a little bit or a groin. He didn't even show up on the injury report or anything like that with a groin. But he had 6 carries in a meaningless game. He had 7 carries in that week 3 game for, again, 1 yard. That brother. Nope. Can't do that. You need to make sure that that ball is going in his hands. He is the most dynamic playmaker on this team, most dynamic and consistent playmaker on this team. Obviously, if you're going to say the biggest playmaker, it's hard to think of anybody other than Hakeem Butler, who's had how many catches has Hakeem Butler had? Let me see. I'm actually just curious about this right now. It might legitimately be like 13. Let's go individual stats. Let's go to, God, I hate this fucking website. I cannot wait for this season to be over. Hakeem Butler has had 13 receptions and 4 of them have been touchdowns. It's hard to say that Jacob Sailors is more dynamic than, or is a bigger big play guy than Hakeem Butler, just because of the percentage of touchdowns to touching the ball. But you guys know what I mean. Jacob Sailors is the guy. He will be the guy. You just need to make sure that you get him going. And maybe part of them not giving him carries was because the offensive line played like shit that game. So that's why I think that the don't panic part of this, like if things do go south, and I'm sure at some point they will, because they always do, man. There's not a dominant team in this league this season. You gotta just keep a level head. Phil McGeegan, talking to you, big dog, talking to you. Don't do that. Don't do cute shit. Don't do cute shit. And then when the cute shit doesn't work, then you're like, oh fuck, it's 2nd and 14. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. What if I throw a screen pass and hope that Jacob Sailors gets 30 yards off of it? He's done that like twice, man. That's not something you want to bank on. You don't bank on that. Don't do that shit. Just play the football game the way that you play the football game. And then when, like, a couple weeks ago, maybe that was against Memphis. I can't remember which game it was, but you get a good 9-yard run on a first down, and you get a 2nd and 1. Then you can do that cute shit. Because that's when they took that shot to Hakeem Butler on the left side. It ended up being like a 30, 40-yard pass or something like that. It's like, that's when you do. When you have the defense reeling, that's when you do your cute shit. Don't do cute shit when you're either behind schedule or on schedule. Do your cute shit when you're ahead of schedule, man. Like don't panic. Just don't panic though, man. That's all I'm trying to say. You gotta make sure that you get Jacob Sailors' touches, because that's just going to open the game up for everybody, man. The Jacob Sailors touching the ball and this team winning, obviously, again, they win a lot of games, but there's a big correlation between how good Jacob Sailors does and how good this team does. I feel like that's not a hot take, man. This is just it's just kind of simple shit, you know. Okay, so that is the stuff on offense. Also, if I wanted to throw another thing in there, move the pocket. Don't let the defense get comfortable rushing Max Duggan. It was what I say. Andre Mintz was that pass rusher that was lined up over Jared Jones-Smith in week 3, and just absolutely kicked the shit out of Jared Jones-Smith. Let's move that pocket a little bit, or not? Yeah, he beat the shit out of Jared Jones-Smith and Chase Allen, and then he beat the shit out of Manny Wilkins right after that. Like immediately after that, actually. Like he would beat the shit out of he would assault 3 people in a 3-second span, which is, not conducive to me having fun. And at the end of the day, what else matters? Okay, so those are my 3 things on offense. 2 things on defense. Biggest one to me is the linebackers. I need the linebackers to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is the most comfortable thing that a linebacker can do is head downhill. Whenever they're heading downhill, that's what it's easier for everybody. You think of a guy playing the edge, it's going to be much easier for him to get after much more comfortable and easier for him, because those 2 things do coincide, to head downhill and get after the quarterback. You got to earn the right to rush the passer by stopping the run. And that's kind of where this entire thing goes. And this, like, you talk about being able to hide a bad linebacker, you have them going downhill. That's my point. It's a much easier thing for them to do. The uncomfortable things is moving horizontally, moving laterally, and then also dropping into coverage. And that's where these linebackers absolutely got fucking cooked the first time that they played them. You had Mike Rose blowing coverages. You had Deion Jackson, one of their running backs, and Abram Smith, their other running back, number 4. You had these guys kind of running wild. if they're getting through the middle into the second level, there are other issues, and I believe that those issues are not as big as when they're getting to the outside. Okay, because I mean you're going to be breaking through multiple guys, and typically this Battlehawks defensive line doesn't let that happen regularly. That being said, if they're taking these running backs and moving them and doing some runs to the outside, either way, that's where you're completely avoiding the defensive line. I mean, that's the entire point of that. And what was happening in that first game is that these running backs were able to do that. The linebackers were coming downhill too quickly. They were trying to play the way that they were the most comfortable with, rather than moving laterally and taking and sticking to these running backs. You know, I need to see some lateral speed. It's not. There's a reason that these linebackers are in this league and they're not in the NFL. It's because they don't have those traits to be able to really do that stuff at a high level. You know, but I need to see him. I need to see him. I need to see it, man. If there's a time to do that, you got to do it. You know that's what this team is trying to do. Whether that means Donnie Abraham's gonna line them up a little bit wider, you know, that is certainly a play for this. You know, there's several things that they can do if the linebackers don't have the traits. It could be showing pressures from some guys and maybe dropping an edge rusher out. You know, there's several things that they can do, and I think Donnie Abraham's smart enough to be able to do that, especially if he's keeping his nickel packages on the field so often. So you can also use Lucas Dennis for those kinds of things. And when he's playing laterally, I think that he does fairly well when he's moving side to side. So I need to see that from both the linebackers and from the nickelback is my point there. So yes, I need the linebackers to be more comfortable being uncomfortable, and then also in coverage, man, they get cooked sometimes. They get cooked. Those tight ends over the middle with a linebacker taking too long to drop back. To be fair, the most I saw somebody do that was Fatakasi, number 33, and he's not on the team anymore. But you know, Willie Harvey, I believe, can do that pretty well. Mike Rose has shown that he can. He's also really shown that he can't. So it's kind of a coin flip for him, but just got to be on your P's and Q's in coverage, man. You got to be on your P's and Q's. And to be fair, I say that I don't know necessarily how these cornerbacks are going to play against the receivers that the that the defenders are going to be marching out here. So biggest issue to me is going to be the linebackers. And I think that the reason I care more about that than the cornerbacks, number one, because I part of what the cornerbacks are doing is a little bit unknown to me. But my fourth point, or my second point, my 5th point total, second point on defense, what was supposed to be my 4th point total, make Jordan Ta'amu hold on to the ball. And he got 17 passing touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, 2 of them against the Battlehawks, like I said. He is so much worse when he's holding on to the ball. When he's holding on to the ball, the longer he's holding on to the ball, the worse that team is by a significant margin. Looking at Jordan Ta'amu, when we're talking about his time to throw, his average time to throw on all drop backs is 2.65 seconds, and that is a long time. When he does throw the ball, average time to throw is just under 2.5 at 2.49. But I like to focus on the drop backs rather than, you know, the ones where he's making a completion. But you know what? I'm gonna take a step back from that. I'm actually gonna focus on that average time to throw when he does deliver the ball, not just on the drop backs. Because that makes more sense with the next numbers I'm reading you. Jordan Ta'amu, when he throws the ball in less than 2.5 seconds, his completion percentage is 64.5%. Keep in mind, Jordan Ta'amu's average completion percentage on everything is 54.6%. He's dog shit, man. He's not good. Not a good quarterback. So whenever he's throwing the ball in less than 2.5 seconds, he is literally making 10% more completions than he does on average. And where that number comes from is that when he's holding onto the ball for longer than 2.5 seconds, and to be fair, every quarterback's percentage goes down the longer that they hold on to the ball, because deep shots are harder to make than, it's a lower completion percentage than than shorter balls, right? I lost my brain there for a second. What was I saying? The longer they're holding on to the ball, the further they're going to throw the ball in theory, and or broken coverages and stuff like that, throwaways, that kind of a thing. So everybody's percentages drop significantly when they hold on to the ball for longer. That being said, when Jordan Ta'amu does it, it is very significant. His average, what did I say, is 54.6. His average completion percentage when he holds onto the ball for longer than 2.5 seconds is 42.6%. 42.6%. Now that compares to other quarterbacks. 1 second, I'm putting in my custom filter right now. I'm bragging. Custom filters. Look at you, Jacob. You coy bitch. Max Duggan. What is Max Duggan's average? Is 57.3. That's his average completion percentage. Less than 2.5 seconds, Max Duggan is at 66.1. Over 2.5 seconds, he is at 48.0. And again, Jordan Ta'amu, 42.6. So it drops, man. It drops so significantly for him. Man, it's really, really impressive. Now, the way that you do that is that you have your 2-star edge rushers, being Pita Tamoipenu and Travis Feeney, get after him. You got to get after him. And the way that that's going to happen, because the defenders run play action a disgusting amount. Let me make sure is that going to be under passing concept? Come on, Jordan Ta'amu. What if I go to passing concept for him? Okay. Play action. This wasn't as significant as I thought it was. He's had 100. No, I'm wrong. Okay, ignore the play action thing. Anyway, it's going to be important because they actually do run play action a significant amount, purely because of the amount of passing plays that they do. You got to be able to get those linebackers to move vertically. You got to trust your defensive line to be able to stop things in the middle. You get the linebackers to move horizontally, stop the run that way, puts them in those passing situations, doesn't allow them to do their play action passes to draw your linebackers even further in, which is what the point of play action is. And then you get your edge rushers. You get your linebackers playing further back, covering guys for longer. You get your edge rushers to make Jordan Ta'amu move around. All of a sudden, he's holding on to the ball for a longer time. Guys, this is an entire team sport. That's the entire point of this. And Jordan Ta'amu is a bad quarterback, and if you can exploit his badness in the ways where it's very, I don't want to say easily exploitable, but where it's the most exploitable, meaning he's holding on to the ball for longer, you got to be able to take advantage of that. I just said so many goddamn things. Good Lord. All right. How long have I been doing this for? 23 minutes. Making good time. My last thing that I wanted to say for this game, key to the game number 3, Anthony Becht. Anthony Becht. Trying to think of the best way to say this. I don't beat around the bush. The Battlehawks have an opportunity here for the to be on the UFL, to have the UFL be part of the team. They put the championship in St. Louis, hoping that St. Louis would be at the championship to get more people to be there. Duh. I've never been in this situation before. I've never been in a situation where the league wants my team to win. There's never been a thing where, like last year, it was all like Chiefs get the refs favors. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't necessarily believe they did, but the proof is relatively in the pudding, depending on which numbers that you look at. Everybody's going to tell you different things. I did some deep dive digging into it last playoffs, and it really depends on who the officiating crew is. Anyway. There's an opportunity here where the Battlehawks can exploit that. And that comes to Anthony Becht and comes to the challenging aspect of things. And Anthony, just let the league help you out. Don't do a bad challenge, man. Don't do a bad early challenge. Don't do a bad early challenge, because if this game is close, and I believe that this is going to be a close game, you're going to want that challenge at the end, because if it's a close game and the league could be like, yeah, this could go either way, but if we give it to the Battlehawks, they're going to win this game, so let's give it to them so they go to the UFL Championship. You want to be able to take advantage of that crookedness, dare I say. You can't take the refs out of the game? Is that what I'm saying? I think, I don't know. This is like the most, compared to the other 5 things that I said, this one probably is the most important, but least important at the same time. Like there's in the spirit of competition, this probably isn't the case. But we're talking about a league where on their app, they make you give them all of your information so you can unlock a different thing on their app that is not actually helpful information. We're looking at a league that's trying to sell you $55 t-shirts. We're not looking at a league that's like, hey, let's make sure that this is a good fan experience and that everything's honky-dory. Like this is a league that shady shit. If they want me to give them my information, and this is Conspiracy Jake coming out, I'm not giving you my goddamn information. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. My point is, and that was a long way around it, and it probably lost a little bit of credibility with this argument, but save that challenge for when it's important, because you could get some help from the big man upstairs being Dean Blandino. I hate that I said that. Fuck me, man. Fuck me. I hate Dean Blandino. So yeah, my 6 points. Get started quick. Don't panic. Linebackers need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Move the pocket for Max Duggan. Keep the ball in Jordan Ta'amu's hand. And Tony. Take the help when you can get it, buddy. Take the help when you can get it. All right. Prediction time. Let's do a prediction for this game. Now, while I'm pulling this up, I will say I don't have the full depth charts and everything that they're putting out, or the the full injury reports yet. Let me make sure that injury reports have not been posted, like the Thursday ones have been posted. No, all I'm seeing right now is the Wednesday ones. But right now, the 5 people that were on that Wednesday practice report were Austin Faliu, Jake Sutherland, Phil Hoskins, Steven Gonzalez, and TJ Pesafea. All full on Wednesday. I imagine they'd probably be all full on Thursday too. For the defenders, it's Michael Maietti, their center. I can't remember if he's a starting center, and then Ty Scott, a wide receiver who hasn't played in a handful of weeks, coming off the IR or something like that. Typically, you would prefer if they didn't have an extra weapon, but, it's whatever. But so tomorrow, when I come back tomorrow with my, my awards, the Jake Awards, the cacaw of the year, the of the year, you big old dumb bitch of the year, that didn't work, the you're an asshole, the dumbass Blandino award. I'll have the depth chart and all that stuff whenever I come back to you with that. That being said, actually, I'm not going to do a prediction yet. I'm going to wait until I see that stuff to come up with my prediction. So yeah, I'm going to end the Bird's Eye preview on that. Get started quick. Don't panic. Move Max Duggan. Linebackers need to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and keep the ball in Jordan Ta'amu's hands. And Tony, take the help when you can get it. All right, go Birds, go Iron Birds. Cacaw is the law. Cacaw, or I guess caw is the law. Cacaw. I'm going to start this all over just for good vibes. Go Birds, go Iron Birds. Caw is the law. Cacaw. Anything that you say to anybody ever, they're going to be like, oh, the guy's just a Battlehawks guy. Is all that is. That guy's just a Battlehawks guy. Like I had a snake in my front yard today. I went to go check the mail. There's a snake. I think it was a corn snake is what it was. I took a picture of it. He's a cute little guy. I'm not a big snake guy. Nobody should be a snake guy. Those are weird people. But if you're watching this, by the way, I bring this up at the end of the show because I'm a dumbass. If you're watching this, you can listen to it on Spotify and Apple. It's solid. If you're listening to this and you want to watch it and see this picture of this snake I'm going to hold up, then you can do that on Solid Pod on YouTube. But look at this guy. You see this? You see this little snake? You see this snake right here? Look at this guy. I don't know what kind of snake that is. Look at this snake. Look at this. Look at this cat. I'm trying to get the ring light out of there. Look at this. I don't know what kind of snake. I think it's a corn snake. Maybe like I don't know snakes. It's not a black rat snake. I know those ones. Those ones are black and they eat rats. And this one neither black nor rat fed. But anyway, I saw this guy. Said like I was walking the mailbox. He's right there, and I looked down. I'm like, oh shit, look at you. And obviously, by me saying that, that snake was like, oh, it's just a Battlehawks guy. Is all that is. All right, I will talk to you guys tomorrow with the awards and the last day of the week. Talk to you later.